Yes, 3500x in crypto market. And that's not a clickbait. You, on average, can get 3500x in crypto market. And based on the history, that's completely true. But let me ask you one question. What makes you think that everyone can get that 3500x, which is average? Not everyone will make it. Now, what decides whether you will get that amount of money or close to the average from the crypto market? What are the real factors which give you that ability to take that money from the market and move it out to your real world portfolio? Now, that's going to be what we are dissecting in this video. But by the end of this video, I'll actually give you guys what I think is going to be a great opportunity, and I'll show you why I think that inside the crypto market, where this is so big, we have a ton of different assets inside this market, right? So stick till the end. This is the scientific investor family, where the normal, common retail guys learn how to become the next top 10% of the world. Keep your eyes focused on the market and see what's happening. Right now, this is clear in the market. You see the same happening in Bitcoin. You see the same happening in Ether when the market is volatile and it is negative, right? Yes, short term, you are observing these volatility. You're going up and down. But when you look at this for like last 52 weeks, this week was the largest 1 week increase in last 12 weeks for Bitcoin, for Ether. And at the same time, it was the same decrease, largest 1 week decrease in last 5 weeks for a stable coin, where there is a ton of value stored to be moved into crypto. So that is actually huge money coming into the market. And if you think that 1 week close to $1 billion is coming just from retailers, I doubt that. I believe that's going to be from institutions. And that's one of the biggest things which will decide if you are really going to make that average gain of the 3500x we are talking about, right? First thing, what decides whether you are going to make it or not? One, your perspective. It's easy to say that, but what's the reality? Because if you go look at different assets in different scale, say for example, this is Walmart, right? When you look at the stock here, you can see, okay, it is going high, it's going high, it's going high. This is really high. It may drop, but as you zoom out, you see that, okay, you're going back another 3 years, you're going back another 3 years, you're going back all the way. And you see like, okay, this is going up, 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 up. Why is that? Utility and the value which you give to your customer, your target market. And this is one of the important stuff which I highlight for XRP, and I think that is going to be true. So when the price is up comparatively in the history, yes, short term we are down, but people saying, okay, this is going to drop all the way back to 0.1 or go lower, maybe. But if you are looking at this one, you don't actually look at it like that, because the value being given to the market is in tons. That's clear. So now you literally go look at something easy. One, perspective. What is the perspective which made people in this one asset rich? Being long term. It's easy to say. Along with that, when you combine buy low, sell high, now that makes a huge difference. Fine. So another thing in the same, the perspective. You look at this and say, okay, let me wait for the price to drop to 0.3, 0.2, and then I'll buy. Fine. This is the top, and this was the bottom for this cycle. Are we close to the bottom or are we close to the top? This is sensible to see whether you're going to buy low or you're going to buy high. Because if you understand where we are right now, looking at the background of where we came from, Now you can project where we are going. Now you don't know, no one knows for sure, but this, knowing the past and the present, help you to be in the better position to actually look at that clearly. Now, this is true in a lot of different asset classes. This is silver. You're looking at the historical trend line. Does it look like this can drop? Okay, there is a huge possibility. If this breaks, this is coming all the way back down to $12. Yes, that's like a massive drop in commodities price. But if you're looking at the trend line, you're not worried about that. But if you're over leveraged, you're short term, yes, you are worried about that. Then you go look at the gold and you're saying like, okay, that's breaking the support. That's a possible double top, which we have seen in the past and how that played out. That's different. But if you're observing this trend line, there is a possibility you can still come back down to this trend line. Or you'll bounce from the short-term trend line, which is another possibility. But again, you're following trend lines for 10, 20 years, right? You're not looking for just short-term stuff. Now, what makes me think like you are going to make an average of 3500x in the crypto market, especially in the altcoin market? This is a trend line which we are looking at from last 10 years. And if you literally observe the number of days you are moving up and the number of days you are moving down, without looking at the consolidation part, we'll include that too. But now, this is like 1,700 days to the upside, in which the actual downtrend was 266 days. So if you're worried about this phase, you should not be worried about that. You should be worried about this phase, because this phase and then this phase is where the market kick a lot of people out, even though we have a lot of upside, because the patience is not there. That's why, we take advice from the real guys who have made in life. See, they give you one word: patience. And what kind of patience? Be maniacally patient. That's what they say, and that is true. If you are an investor, that's exceptionally true. Now, if you look at this in the current market cycle, this is like 1,750 days till now, from the top, actually not from the bottom, but you see the top to bottom is 340 days. The consolidation period of next 630 days is what kicked a lot of people out of the market. Now, imagine you are in the market, you are ultra long term, not just long term. This is what you actually made. Think about this. Now imagine, okay, the price went down, you didn't take profit, and it's time for you to take profit. If you look at this one and then divide it by 10 years, you can say, okay, that's a 1,300x for sure. But if you are that one guy who says, okay, we came to the top here, we kind of made that top 3-4 times, and you don't have to be too much lucky to take some profits here. So if that's you, then you're saying, okay, the market really did a 3,500x in 10 years as an average. Fine. Now you're in the market. What kind of decision are you going to make? Are you going to make a decision which is completely dependent on this small triangle here? If that's you, it's completely fine. It's up to you. But decide whether you are going to trade in this pattern where it's going to go up, down, up, down, up, down, where your moving average, this is 200-day moving average, which the price is respecting each time it is dropping back down, which is actually a strong signal, along with this trend line. Because if you go back to what we've talked before, just to look at that perspective, this is clear. When you are literally looking at these things, you don't want to forget all this. This is long-term trend line where you're bouncing off from. Now, you can literally go on and change the trend line and the moving average. It's completely up to you. You can literally put a 200-day moving average. And when you put in a 200-day moving average, say you go on a weekly, and you're like, okay, the price is staying close to that, a little bit above, a little bit below. So right now, when it's bouncing from this range, what do you think is going to happen? Historically, when it bounces, it goes above the moving average. So right now, the moving average is $400 and the price is below this. So the moving average is going to come down. Even if you say the moving average reaches 350, when the price crosses that, it still can go above that, right? That's my thought process there. So if you are long-term in this, you make money. Now, you come back into the crypto sphere and you're asking this little question to yourself like, okay, we understand utility is the key. We clearly don't look at different assets and say this is just going sky high. You will have something, right? Yes, there are a lot of this. But if you remember, I told you I'm going to give you something which I think is a gem. I posted this one earlier in the Patreon. So if you are looking at this, on a long-term scenario, you're taking it from the stop range of volatility and then look at the MACD, look at the RSI. It's actually clear. To take in all the volatility in the price action, it's really hard. But when you look at the MACD, which is trending higher from all these times, and you see the trend line evolving, that's great. Now we are entering the positive territory where you see a lot of price action. If you've been listening to this channel, you now know where you are reaching for the price action. Then look at the RSI resistance. You've been getting resisted for a long period of time in this range, and now you broke that, you consolidated above that, and you are now breaking to a new high, which shows you a new trend is coming up. Now you zoom in, because the price action was so bad, a lot of people got emotionally sick, moved out of these assets, NFT space, but now there is a lot of money going back into that space. Am I saying you should buy this now? No, it's completely your decision. But understand, taking long-term view matters. Now, I'm not saying you to go to the metaverse space to live, but literally looking at the reality. If you even say I'm going to be just next 3 years, next 5 years, this is what you are literally looking at in the crypto market, and especially in the XRP market. You look for like last 5 years, how the price varied here. Then the 5 years before that, how the price varied before that, right? All of this is kind of giving you one sense. If your perspective is not ultra short term, worst days are going to come, but you are going to make it because you are in an asset which trends higher and has a massive volatility scale. Now, this is not something which should shake you. Market shows you that there is a demand, money is coming in, and it's not completely moving out. That's reducing. Because you look at this and say like, okay, USD flowing into fiat exchanges are down 43%. You are literally like, okay, people moving out, running out. Now it's really less. And this is happening at a time when you see the biggest increase in like 3-4 months in Bitcoin entries, people entering into that range. Now, usually we know this clearly happens in the market. Big guys come in, small guys go out. They put in that narrative for you to buy it, and they say, no, we are not going to do that. And especially when the data looks like this, and then you look at the news and it's like, okay, I get their point. Shout out to Cryptic Point for this one. This actually does give you that idea. Look at all of this. On one side, they say, okay, this is going to drop everywhere. This is Ponzi scheme. You know, that kind of fear mongering. But on the other side, you literally see them going on building this infrastructure for their clients. Why do they do that? Because they want to delay you. They want to take it more, the supply. They know it exists in the market. They want to absorb as much as possible. So if you are here in the space, yes, short-term volatility matters if your time horizon is small. But understand one thing, this is something which you should take in completely. Remove all this, and one thing we understand is, yes, the average, you get 3500x. But to get that average, you also have to go through these declines. If you're worried about this 87%, this 92% declines, you are not going to make that 3500x on average. Now, do I think that kind of a decline is here coming? I'm like, we already went through all of that. Right now, you are at a phase where you are here. So in my humble opinion, if I'm looking at the market, I would say we are here, right? This kind of gives me better perspective when I am looking at the market. You are here. You are retesting this trend line. You are retesting your moving averages. And that's not a bad thing. Your asset now staying above the 200-day moving average. So if you are here long enough, when we get that next average top, believe me, we will talk. We will repeat what we said here, and we will see how many of you are still here in the market reaping those benefits. Now, if you are really worried about the short-term volatility, short-term opportunities, and what exists in the market, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below, where we not only post opportunities like that and like this as soon as you're breaking higher, getting that volume and all, you also get the right perspective at the right time. So guys, if you're receiving value, please do hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done that already. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye-bye.